Me. Yeah. Good evening.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. What's going on, folks? Yeah, a little late.
Yeah, it was blaming this guy here.
Yeah, blame me. A little late, but we here. Hmm. So, hold on 1 second. We got a comment. I think this might be Ash. What up, Ash? What's going on? Yeah, I know we a little late, and I know you got to get out. You can't be here with us because you got your show coming on in about what 35 minutes. So I know what it is. Y'all go follow Ashley, Black Girl Interrupted, on all streaming platforms. I'm gonna get there one day, Ashley. You know, I'll be procrastinating. I got too much going on over here. Um, but yeah, go check out our content. You know, all the good content. You know, tonight she's gonna be talking about. Remind me, Ashley, because I knew what it was earlier. Because I did a reminder.
I guess that she got bad time. I forgot
Yeah, she's out behind.
she out there in
Okay.
in
Texas.
Nowlands. Oh,
No, she in Texas. Yeah, she in Texas.
What part of Texas is that? Don't say it. Giving away her location.
Nah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't do. Okay, she's discussing mental health awareness. It's a growing issue in the Black community, and we need to step up and do our part to help bring awareness. So she says it's everybody issue. So I got you. I got you. So y'all check out over on YouTube. Yeah, I ain't gonna put your location, Ash. I'm not
too late.
Yeah. If they're on YouTube, they'll see it. But anyway, yeah. Y'all check out on YouTube or any other streaming platforms. It comes on 9:00 Eastern, 8:00. I'm sorry. It's coming on 8:15 Central, 9:15 Eastern. But anyway, let's get down to our program. So today, something happened today. Well, yesterday actually. The whole Wade Wade. So
I'm not plugged in.
You're not plugged in. So they're attacking the abortion thing.
Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, Roe versus Wade.
Okay. What's going on with that?
So they're supposed to be trying to get rid of it, and people up in arms.
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna get into that because that's not our whatever the show. I had conversation with different women folk about that, and I said some things, and they said some things, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
Right.
No matter what, we can't do anything about it. It's just opinions and everything.
Nothing at all.
But I want to give y'all some good news, ladies. Y'all are winning.
Oh.
So the topic tonight is, ladies, y'all winning. You are winning, ladies. You're winning. Yeah, they're trying to overturn it. I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought they were like in the process to do it, and like they tried to sneak it under the radar or something like that. And somebody leaked whatever was going on. Somebody kind of leaked it, so it got out to the public.
Who was trying to? Who was putting it? Who was in the process? I guess some senators or some congressmen or something.
No. I think something happened with the secretaries. United States secretary, whatever. Don't get me lying. I don't know. I quickly heard it. I don't have a uterus, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not well informed on that. I just got a little bit of it and had some conversation about, because people were mad about it. And I'm like, you don't have to ever get pregnant. So we have all kind of forms of birth controls, and maybe that's my ignorance. But
I think you just looking at it from a different. It's everybody has different ties and stuff. For some, I think a lot of times it becomes an emotional tie for some people. And I understand if you feel like somebody's taking something away from you that you have a right to do. So whenever rights are removed from you, I don't, like I said, I don't know the ins and outs. You guys schooling me on this, so I can't even speak if I'm over here. Just I'm gonna be quiet and just let you
let me dig my grave. Just keep on digging. No, but I think I was talking to a friend earlier about that situation, and it was something she was asking me, like, okay, why should people put sanctions on people's bodies and everything like that? And basically that's what people look at it as. And I'm like, okay, well, we belong to the United States. We're citizens of the United States. We're citizens of Atlanta, well, not Atlanta, but Georgia. So we have to operate under their laws. So if
we have to operate
you
under
know,
their laws, but I'm in strong agreement with what to say, my body, my choice,
mm,
or some shit like I can't remember the
yeah,
exact
my body,
term.
my choice.
Yeah, but see that you didn't hear that when they were talking about making vaccines mandatory and stuff like that. So hey man,
Or so this is the thing, and I brought up too, like when he was talking about the whole thing about being a citizen and being property, because we're property of this United States.
I,
We are property. Think about it.
I don't
We
know
have to
about
pay
that one.
taxes. You don't have no choice, but I mean,
Right. You
you
have
have to pay.
to,
So
if you're gonna be
yeah,
a
a
citizen,
citizen. Yeah.
you definitely have to pay taxes. But
Mm,
I don't know about the property. Now I know when I was in the military, I was considered property of the
mm.
United States government. Then I was government issue, whatever you want to call
Well,
it.
we second class property then. I
Second
mean,
class property.
we have certain freedoms that we consider ourselves to be free, but mm,
Yeah, but
eh,
the people I brought this up last week. The
uh,
people asked for it. They turned
yeah,
to their daddy and
yeah,
said, "Hey, fix this problem."
yeah.
And when you do that, they start taking stuff away. So
So think this is what I brought up too. Think about this. I think it should be legal. Like you should be able to have doctors. If you're going through some kind of painful stuff and you're old and you're going to, I think like Dr. Kevorkian, I think that should be legal.
I think you should, if you want to kill, it's illegal to burn your own house down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think if you want to destroy your own stuff,
Have at it.
be
Yeah.
my guest. Don't as long as you don't infringe on
Mm,
anybody else's.
mm.
Because I'm gonna go on a little tangent.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not gonna
No,
talk
go
about
ahead.
the
Do your thing.
winning,
Go
winning.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
But you know, I'm a strong advocate for our rights are granted by the creator, whatever
Mm,
you believe
mm.
in. We
Whoever it
come
is. Yeah.
here with certain rights. We don't have to, you know, until we started giving up. We never had to answer to anyone else. We
Hmm.
didn't have, I'm not gonna say anything was a choice. Sometimes people take those rights by force.
Yeah.
That's what happened in early times. They one place conquers another one, and then you fall up under the rule
Mm,
of somebody else. But we're supposed to be in a place where there is no ruler. Now
yeah.
we have leadership in place where, we elected these people
Hmm.
to make they're supposed to make life better
Yeah.
for us, but they are elected officials. They are what do they call them?
They're spokesmen for the companies. That's
Exactly.
that's
That's what they're
basically what it boils down
supposed to
to.
be.
Yeah.
Civil service.
Yeah.
That's the
Civil.
word.
That's what it's
That's what
supposed
I
to
was
be.
looking
Mm,
for. But we keep treating them like they're some kind of royalty,
and they're
and,
acting as such.
and exactly
Yeah.
when you give people a certain amount of power, they they do it for so long. They believe, hey, I got this power. I can do these
Mm,
things, and I tell everybody, own your own stuff. Stop looking for somebody else to fix your problems.
yeah.
Because if you look, the government doesn't do anything well, except for they used to be able to fight wars well.
They don't. They have never did anything successfully, according that I know.
That's what I'm
That
saying.
I
But
don't know anything.
we keep turning to the government
Yeah.
to fix all our ills,
Mm,
and this is what you get. Like I said, they used to be pretty successful in fighting wars. We
mm,
had the world's most powerful military at one time, and at any point we could, you saw what happened in Hiroshima.
yeah. Yeah.
We could do that, but they don't even have the stomach for that anymore. And I'm not saying they should or
Mm,
should not. I'm just saying that was one thing that they were actually able to accomplish at a high level of achievement.
mm,
Whereas the social issues, things like that, that's a joke.
yeah.
That it's nothing being fixed, and I don't
No. No.
remember anything that was ever
Mm.
fixed.
No.
And
No. What they
I
doing? They
could be
playing a
wrong.
shell game. That's basically what
Hey,
they doing
they
now.
they playing a lot of games, but that's my little
Mm,
thing on that, man. Stop
mm,
turning to I call him daddy.
mm,
Stop turning to daddy to fix your problems. You're gonna have to be self-sufficient to fix
mm.
your own problems, because this is what happens when you turn your power over to someone else. They take things from you
Yeah.
in the guise under the guise of, we're gonna make it better for you, but in reality you just giving them more and more power. Like you said,
Mm.
it does feel like we are a property
We property. No, we
of
are. No,
somebody,
when you
the way
like,
we break it down.
well, like smoke and mirrors here. We free. But in the in the back, oh,
Yeah,
there's somebody hand up your ass, make you
right.
make you move. And you know what? This wasn't even a off topic tangent because it goes into the topic, right?
Okay,
Goes
okay.
right into the topic. We
Yeah,
ain't even talked before this,
I'm
so
clairvoyant,
yeah, we just we right here. But yeah. So the thing is that with this about taking away rights, that's what it is, right? So I'm gonna talk about that for a second, right? The first law of alchemy:
Mm.
humankind cannot gain anything without first giving away something to return
Ooh.
in return. So to obtain something, you must give up something of equal value.
Mm. Mm.
So that's, that's, let's picture a scale, right? A scale, balance scale. If I want to get more over here, I got to take something away over here.
Mhm.
That's just basically what it is. So women, ladies, you're winning. Modern ladies, y'all winning. Y'all got it. What am I talking about? Well, there was a research that came out, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen. The newest Pew research came out, and this was, I think it was last week. Damn it.
You know what, you pretty damn good. I've never seen anybody like work the show like this themselves. Putting up displays, videos, and stuff
Mm.
like that in the process of the show. So hey man,
So
kudos to you.
there was a lot of great news for women in the workplace last month. First, Pew Research released a new analysis of U.S. Census data that revealed women under the age of 30 now earn men the same age in 22 metropolitan areas in the country. While the numbers varied from geography, women in New York City and Washington, D.C. earn 10,
Man,
oh
that's
damn, 102,
102.
oh damn, 102% of what similarly aged men earn,
Wow.
rising to a truly whopping 120% in
Don't try.
Wenatchee,
Don't try.
Washington. I don't know
Don't
where
try.
Wenatchee,
I
whatever it is,
I won't be moving there.
Washington, a large town a few hours east of Seattle. So over there on the East Coast, up top,
Mm-mm.
almost to British Columbia,
That, yeah.
the women are earning 120% over men, pretty much.
Wow. That's a great
Um,
number.
so you see, across the nation, young women now earn 93 cents to the dollar. At some point, women was always talking about the wage gap,
Income equality.
72%. And
Hmm.
you kept on hearing these numbers, and I was kept, when I was talking to women, I'm like, this doesn't exist. Everybody said it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So what it was, they was taking different jobs. They wasn't taking the same job
But doing
type,
right, you
the
weren't
same hours.
correct. Correct.
So so now we got the new numbers in, and women are earning 93 cents to the dollar overall, according to Pew,
Mm.
which economists, I'm sorry, attributing that stubborn 7-cent difference to the lower number of hours worked by young women
It's always been.
compared, and that's what it is, compared to men. So accounting for factors such as job title, education, experience, industry, job level, and hours worked, that number rises to a hair splitting 99 cents on the dollar. Women, you have arrived.
Mhm.
Congratulations. I wish I had my sound thing queued up
Ba, ba,
because
ba, ba. You
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
I would have that. I'll have claps,
some balloons?
some, yeah, you know,
Ah,
fireworks. I have it all.
right.
But how does that fit in with the whole first law of alchemy?
Mhm.
Can you give me what do you think? Come on, let's.
Well, I mean, like you said, for whatever reason, in this country, it may be everywhere. We believe that in order for someone to gain, someone has to lose.
Mhm.
So, uh, our government put laws in place and things to, I guess you could say, uplift women. Not really
Mhm.
uplift them, but make a path for them that I don't even want to
A
call.
special pad. No,
Yeah,
there is.
I don't
Yeah.
want to call it easier, but a path was created,
Mhm.
to achieve this so-called income equality.
Mhm.
In this case, what we're talking about, and in the process of doing that, it took people who were just as qualified, maybe more qualified,
Mhm.
and you know they end up losing. Like I said, for whatever reason, we feel like in order for someone to win, then somebody has to lose. When
Mhm.
you start putting in artificial laws like this, I call it artificial
Mhm.
because on a even scale, the best person should get
Yeah.
whatever job it is.
Mhm.
That's just I want the best person working for my company,
Mhm.
but that's me. So, but let me hear what because you're a lot deeper than
So
me.
first I'm gonna put up. I'm gonna go to my what you call first because I like to use the yin and yang, right?
All
So
right,
I figured out. So I found something
let's check
that
it
was
out.
that's expressing exactly what I think was going on back in the day. So this is the yin and yang from back in the day. Where women, they weren't as
They the white.
yeah, women are the white. They're the lighter energy. That's the feminine energy. Men
Feminine
are the
energy.
darker.
The
So back in the
darkness.
day, they didn't have many rights. They
Right.
didn't have many rights. Um, so the relationship kind of looked like this, where the men were over kind of taking up most of the circle,
Hmm.
and women fought for equality. which is rightfully so.
Okay.
I
Hold
go,
that thought
go ahead,
one
go
second.
ahead.
I just want to jump in there
Mm,
because, like you said, I want you to emphasize back in the day
mm.
when a lot of labor was physical,
Manual labor, yeah.
manual labor.
Yeah,
So that's kind of how it was supposed to be,
yeah. Mm,
because the jobs that were out there were physically demanding
mm,
manual labor jobs,
mm,
especially a lot of the higher earning jobs.
mm.
So, but go ahead. I just want
Yeah.
you to hold.
And damn, I missed one. I missed another clip, but that's another picture, whatever, illustration. But that's how it used to look back in the day.
Hmm.
So um, ladies fought for equal rights,
Hmm.
which is feminist. That feminist movement was definitely necessary. It's equal rights of opportunity,
Right. And I agree with that
and
100%.
we should have equal rights of opportunity under legal system. Under you have the same rights under God, whatever you believe in. Like you said earlier, you should have equal rights. I'm not against women having equal rights. Uh, but the problem is that when you make those special laws and then you're trying to have equal rights of outcome,
Can't do it.
that's what a problem rises. And then you start to have, because um Title 7, and this is a little history lesson. Title 7, when they did that right with the civil rights movement, it was supposed to be giving men an opportunity to take care of their families.
Okay.
It was put in place to give minorities, which you thought the men were going to get the jobs and they could take care of their families, to get some women off welfare, do it, whatever. But because of the powers that be got the Moynihan report and understood that, hey, if you give women money, they're going to get rid of their men.
Hmm.
So
Or
they
be
were in.
willing to. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been will. No, they did. I mean,
They did,
they
but.
did, but it was more likely. Put it that way.
Hmm.
So what happened was that after getting that report, they were having it was like a war between the government and the black community, aka Black Panthers, the Black Power movement, or whatever. So the way to get to that and destroy the Black Power movement was to destabilize the family. Community was strong back then. Families, father, mother, children.
Right.
They supported the Black Power movement. You remember, I'm Black and my proud, black,
Hmm.
all that other stuff happened in the late '60s. So they want to get rid of that. So they destabilized the family by giving women money. Title 7, women became double minorities. So they were able to give the women the jobs. And this is also at the time where we weren't doing as much manual labor, like he was talking about before. We wasn't doing as much manual
Right.
labor. The job market started to shift. Then we had the war going on, which where a lot of black men went to war. So it destabilized stuff to the point where now, after destabilizing the market, and I'm going to say something that's probably going to be controversial, right? But I was talking to somebody, I made the comparison, same friend, made a comparison that you ever heard white men that always like brag about they pull themselves up from by their bootstraps.
I've heard that.
So anybody knows in America during that time, whatever old times, they were given stuff.
Mm.
They were given land, they were given subsidies and all this other stuff, right? But they claim my grandfather pulled himself up by the bootstraps and he got all this land. He gave, he left it to us and we're well off because my grandfather did such, right? Um, I think the same thing happened with black women, to where now they're prideful, more prideful,
Mm.
like they did it all on their own.
Mm.
And I mean, you can it might. I mean, I don't even think it's controversial if you actually a student of history and you actually look at like what I just said, right? You can see that black men were being held down by laws and by other stuff. Jim Crow, and by the over policing, putting the drugs in the community. They pumped that drugs in the community. They didn't give it to black women to get put them in jail. They gave it to the black men. Now, yes, black men went along with it. We fully went along with it because we wanted money in our pockets. We wanted to feed our families. Some wanted to show off, ride the big caddies,
Yeah,
diamond
baby.
in the back. The diamond in the back. They wanted to drive the caddies and wear the fly suits and everything and be admired by people in the neighborhood.
By the women.
Yeah, yes, by the women's too. So at that point, we played a part in it. Men were, like I said, we was talking supposed to be going in last week with, bros wasn't loyal.
Yeah.
That's how they destroyed the community by doing that. But fast forward now, and this we got now.
Mm.
We have this now. So what does that mean for women? Women, you're empowered. You're winning. And not we're equal on pay. And this is not representative of the pay. This is representative of how society views women, deals with women. Everything is geared to
Women.
women,
Mhm.
empowering women. You know, women going to, getting money for this, money for that, making an extra special place for women to, you know, basically outshine. Because if you look at it, it's really it's really the black women that have profited more than the white women on this, which I will probably come. We talked about it earlier, before you joined. I think we kind of touched on that. Uh, oh, for people that because I'm putting this on the podcast too, audio. So he was asking about Roe versus Wade ending
The
thoughts.
ending thoughts.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, we had kind of spoke on that earlier, but yeah, like I said, we have this now. We have this uneven yin and yang symbol where the white is mostly filled up and the black. So what this represents is that white women are being more dominant in the homes,
Mhm.
in the workforce, and the black men are, I'm not going to say subordinates, but they are being less represented. They're being less of what they used to be. Let's just say that.
I can say I can agree with that. You
They're,
don't see black men in society on in a large scale, and when I say that, I'm just talking about in general,
mm,
far as advertising or anything like
mm.
that. So, but okay,
Yeah, all the focus pretty much on women. If you look at TV shows and stuff, and I was just talking to a friend, she was talking about a TV show she's watching, and it was the women, was kicking men
oh
ass and everything, and
yeah, man, bad. I mean,
yeah,
they just superhero. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. If you think you're a superhero, be my guest. But yeah, that the majority of the shows are catered towards women empowerment.
mm.
Strong women.
And I think part of the problem is with men too, because we don't consume as much as women, so that's another reason why that
Oh, what?
happens.
What is? Yeah, and you said it was a problem. It's not really a
No,
problem. It's just the reality of how because we consume at a different level. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, like media, we don't
Right,
like
right.
the stuff that actually like programs us. We don't really do like books. We don't read as much as women.
Mm-hmm,
We don't buy books as much.
mm-hmm,
We don't buy as much music as women.
mm-hmm.
So, in order to have your company profit, you have to market to the women.
Agreed, 100%.
So movies like one of the ex girlfriend of mine like pointed out something out, and I was like, I'm going to watch a movie, right? And we was going to watch a movie, and it was like, a man. I'm thinking it's a man movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Oh, you want to see that movie because it's an action movie? You think it's a man movie, but all movies pretty much are love stories." And I'm like, "Nah, that's some bullshit. You lying? It's a man movie. It's a man movie." Then we got down. I'm like, "Hold on,
Yeah, he
you
found
have
him.
to have that aspect in it in order for women to."
Is very
Yeah,
few that
yeah,
don't have
yeah. Very,
that.
very few, very few. But I'm like, man, she didn't ruin it for me. Now my eyes are open. I'm seeing the little green lines like the Matrix and stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, that's some bull, man. You done messed up the experience. But getting back to the article, damn it, is in the way. I can't see that.
You can just read the little small one over here.
No, no. Hold on. Let me get some bifocals, some trifocals. Anyway, it says something about, I don't know. They see a part. Oh, the women. I know what it is now from memory. The women are starting to see a partner gap taking place, leaving women struggling to find a desirable mate for marriage and motherhood. Evolutionary psychologists say that women tend to be more attracted to men who are highly educated and out earns them, because sex can bring great whatever. I don't know. Oh, it can bring great. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. Let me.
It's not a very big word,
No,
huh?
it ain't a bear. Yo, what I'm trying to do, I have my
It's
there we go. I'll take that off right there. I have the logo. Okay. Great. Okay, it brings great costs for women, namely pregnancy and childbirth.
okay.
Women, the theory goes, seeks a partner who can ensure she is fed, sheltered, and protected while pregnant,
Hmm.
as well as secure her offspring's well-being after delivery. And, however rare, if she dies in childbirth, they finding men of higher or equal value or equal earning, I'm sorry, and academic status is increasingly difficult because of the college gap, which widens year after year.
Mhm.
So, yes, the thing about pushing, making it easy for women to go to college,
Mhm.
or actually, it was easy for men too, but men don't. In school, you start to see the gap widen in school, in high school,
Especially
pretty much.
especially after
Yeah, yeah,
in
high
high
school,
school is
high
when you
school.
first
Yeah,
know it, but then when you look at college, it's really like
yeah,
it jumps
yeah. I
big
think it's
time.
like 60-40, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
You
that's
know,
big numbers.
yeah, 60% women, almost 30 something, almost 40. Yeah, it says right there. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. So they say the college gender gap matters. In 2021, nearly 60% of college students were women. This stat, along with the kinds of manufacturing, low-skilled job opportunities for less educated men, led to many Gen Z women and the youngest millennial females out earning men. These gaps made it harder for women to find a partner who earns the same level as she does. It makes it finding love hard.
Mm,
Many young women find themselves single and childless despite a deep desire for love and motherhood.
mm.
The CDC reported this in 2012 that 80% of never married women ages 15 through 44 are childless. And the group 81% plan to hope to have children one day. So, um, this is where we at. This is the alchemy I was talking about. When you have you put something on one side and take something off the other side, you focus more on one side, then the other side is failing.
Yeah.
That's from the lies from the feminist movement. You had Better for Dan, you had Gloria Steinem and them telling them women that you can have it all. You can have it all. You could, a successful career, a loving family, uh, the White House, the picket fence, all this other stuff. But what happened in the black community was that they didn't focus on really having it all. They focused on themselves and gaining whatever, competing, the competition basically, because it became a competition. That's what it is, and that's where we're at right now with the gender gap. I'm sorry, the gender war kind of sort that we have. Uh, you got something on that? Because I've been kind of
As far as the gap in
yeah the gender war and whatever.
um not really, but like you said, you can't you what I thought was interesting that piece you just read is when they talked about the amount of money women make and how it makes it harder for them to find love. And I'm trying to think when did money and love become synonymous where, if the money is not there, you cannot find love. But in a lot of women's mind, I think just because of their biology, their makeup in this world today, money is not necessarily a social status, but it's a sign of a man being able to provide
Mm,
security and safety and
mm,
protection. And so that they completely and it's crazy because we've gone over the numbers many
mm,
times as far as who makes what
mm.
and how much. There's very few people who make I'm just gonna say over $75,000 a year,
Yeah.
and that goes across racial lines. It's still that's just a small percentage of people who make that kind of money.
Mm,
Now women are taking over in that, not necessarily taking over, but their numbers are increasing in that gap. Well, in that not price range but salary
mm.
range.
And
And
very specific, it's only 22 states that they were actually focused on that actually happened. So
right,
yeah, so
and I'm sure if you add in other states, it's probably not as great.
mhm,
But like I said, so many factors that goes into that.
mm,
But when women get to that point, it is you hear a lot of them say it's hard for them to look at a man who makes less than them as, or even a blue. He could make just as much, but if he's not corporate, if he's
mhm,
not, if he doesn't look the part,
mm,
then it's hard for them to be attracted to him. And that's reality.
mm,
It's like what you said. You winning now, but this is the cost of winning. You somebody else has to lose when
mm.
you win,
Yeah,
or not even lose, but somebody now because of the a woman's psychology. People who are not making monetarily the same thing that they are, they don't look at them as being suitable
yeah,
partners now.
they look at the less than really loss of respect.
Yeah, as
What?
though that the amount of money you make determines the kind of person you are. But in our society, I know it does. I know it has a heavy weighing.
Well, in the black community,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I see it. I see it in the white community too.
But I think
But
it's
in the
more
black community,
prevalent. It's more prevalent.
because what
Yeah,
do we?
yeah.
I mean, when you look at our entertainment, whether it be music or TV or whatever, money is leverage. People,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking about how much money they got,
Yeah,
how they throw it away, how
they're
they,
flossing. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you look at a lot of the different shows. Um, I used to look at Housewives of Atlanta a long time ago, but that was always, that was always their comeback was how much they spent on something,
Mm-hmm.
or how much money somebody else is not making. That made them better,
Yeah, yeah.
than somebody else because I make this much money,
Mm-hmm.
or I got this for that. So it's it's I guess it's been conditioned in us, but it really has nothing to do with who you are as a person, as far as how much money you make. Normally, hardworking people who are good people are going to make a decent amount of money as far as being able to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of
Well,
what you get.
and the thing is with opulence, we've been conditioned to
That's the
yeah,
real problem
yeah,
right there, in
for
my opinion.
opulence. Yeah, no, I mean between that, church's prosperity, kind of
Hmm.
gear us towards doing that.
Yeah.
The commercials gear us towards doing that, like you said, music, TV
Oh
gears us
yeah.
towards doing that. And women, what you're trying to explain, that women are more hypergamous in nature. The fact that they
Right.
want men that is above them,
Right.
so they can feel taken care of, so they can
Right.
feel protected, they can feel provided for. It's just something
I
innate in
think
them that
I,
feels good when they're in that position.
I think you hit the nail on the head just now. The hypergamy, because and that's not something a woman chooses. It's
Mhm.
just who she
No, it's
is.
nature. It's a
It's
nature.
who she is. It's been like that since the beginning of time. He got more rocks than Buddy down the street. I'm gonna hang out with this dude with 100 rocks. He only got two
We
down
ain't
there.
talking about crack. We ain't talking.
Yeah,
We ain't,
well,
we
even
ain't
if you
talking about
put it,
crack
hey, look,
rocks.
even if you put it in crack terms though, but it's still, the
Mm.
crackhead female is gonna be like, this
Mhm.
guy got 100 rocks. This guy got two. I
Used to
got
be prom queen. Now I'm
right.
just crack fiend.
I got to, I'm gonna kick it with this
Mm,
this guy. But and like I said, it's nature. It's
mm.
it's their job is to find the best mate suitable,
Yeah, suitable candidate.
and they don't want to have a mate where they feel like they are doing better than them.
Yeah.
And they can say, oh, I don't know. Even if you can say that out of your mouth, your nature doesn't allow you to even
Well, your
become
actions.
your actions.
Eventually your actions gonna
Yeah, it
you're gonna
doesn't.
forget that. You're gonna forget that one day, and then you're gonna find yourself talking down to that person because
Mhm.
how dare you? He can't grab his nuts and assert himself like a man making more than her. So at some point you're gonna have that friction to where it's gonna bubble over. It's
Mhm.
gonna start rearing its ugly head.
Yes.
Um,
It's a little ugly
yeah.
head.
Yeah. So let me go into the next one because
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Uh oh.
damn it, damn it, damn it.
Uh oh.
uh, so anyway, I can't read the first part of the line just to let y'all know. They find a desire mate in marriage and motherhood. Rather than continue to focus on narrowing the wage gap, it's time to consider it closed. We must focus our attention on the college gap and helping ensure that boys and young men are empowered to attain higher education, just like girl power programs have successfully done for girls and young women. We must support boys' academics and young men's career potential. Doing so will actually leave girls and women better off and help the society reach true gender equality.
Mm.
So, see how, let me take this out right quick so I can look at y'all. Gotta look at y'all.
Yeah, he feel-
Now, see how things became uneven. Now they got to go ahead and put some more stuff on this side to try to even it back out because they see now it's a problem. That's just like people are so up in arms about what Kevin Samuel said about the 35 and over women leftover women.
Mhm.
He was referring to women in China. I was working in Buckhead in this Chinese no, well, it wasn't Chinese restaurant. It was something. And it's some Chinese people. And they was talking about the problems in China.
Mhm.
She said, yeah, yeah, she was telling the man, yeah, the problem in China is there's not, because of one child thing, there's not enough women for the men over there. And men, so they're trying to. She was talking. I'm sitting there like, oh, I heard that. I read that somewhere. So I'm looking. I'm just ears perk up, whatever.
Mhm.
And that's because of social engineering, right? They socially engineered their society to only have one child,
One
and
child.
majority of them wanted boys. So
That's
they
right.
they took it. Hey, we gonna have less girls, and now that the boys are older, they can't find suitable mates. So now you can't continue the cycle to to have families.
Mhm.
So that's what the black community is social engineered. You put so much into the black woman to try to destabilize a family. Now the black community has a problem to where now we have to focus on the boys. Now we have to focus on educating these boys to the point where they can be have viable candidates for these women. So the women have partners. So now we continue the race. We can continue, mating. Well, they're still gonna mate. I'm not gonna say it's gonna stop mating because they're gonna mate regardless. But the thing is that
It's not gonna be a unit though. It's not gonna be a family
it's
involved.
not gonna be a family unit, and you have your kids is gonna become lesser
Mm.
because we already know the rates, the single parent, household success rates. We know that. We know it's very high. That there's, very low success rate. I'm sorry. We know it's a very low success rate. So if we want to fix that problem, now we have to focus on the new problem we created. Because when you destabilize something, go back to the first law of alchemy. When you take something, when you give something, you want to get something, you have to take it away from somewhere else. You know, go back to one of Newton's law. Well, not as Newton's law. That's what energy is neither created or
Yeah, I think that might be
that
new,
might be Newton's law.
or it might be. I don't know.
I don't remember. Anyway, that's way back in high school. Energy is neither created or destroyed. It just changes
It's
form. It
transferred.
just transfers power or energies. So same thing with this, right? We have a total. We have a total perfect yin yang, and we got to this now. So now it's uneven. You got that big section of women over there unhappy because look at the dudes over there.
Hmm.
They're less than. They're uh what that woman, the chick I had a debate with, she's like, well, I'm loving this. I'm glad to be alive because I can see where men are weaker than women, and it's like that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. Who is going to protect you if men are weaker than women? Who? I mean, that's probably one of the reasons I'm still trying to get this answer why women feel unprotected in our community like that. But this might be one of the reasons why because um we have destabilized. We have
We
destabilized our community.
we have to stabilize what's natural, what
Yeah, the natural order.
nature, the
Mhm,
natural order of
mhm.
things. And I'm not going to tell you do one or the other, but
It works hand in hand.
you get what you
Yeah, it
get.
works hand in
When
hand.
you decide to take a certain route.
Mhm. So let's go back to the article. This process won't come easily. The academic gender gap begins early, with the girls leaping ahead of boys in literacy by fourth grade. And this is the whole thing where you see most boys are reading on fourth grade level. At that fourth grade, for some reason, the boys start to fall off in reading.
Mhm.
They start to,
That's probably when they start to. I would say they start to develop physically and start to lean more to sports. I mean, it sounds
yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
but they spend
Well,
more
other
time.
things
Yeah,
like
other
cartoons,
things.
video games, and everything like that. Yeah,
Right. And even
maybe.
if you don't, if you don't let your child get into all that stuff, like I said, they now they're starting. It's like I said, their physical attributes are starting to kind of kick in now. Because fourth grade, you're looking at what 11. I'm thinking. I'm really not sure.
Um,
11,
nah, I think it's more
10,
like
11.
yes. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever. I
but
don't
that's
know.
when kids
Yeah,
start
maybe. Yeah, about 10, maybe.
play. Well, boys start playing sports and stuff, and so reading. I watched my son do this.
Mhm,
My son used to be an avid reader, and then
mhm,
as he gotten older, you know, and he would read anything.
mhm,
If it had words in it, he'd pick it up and read it. And as he got older, he started to put the books down to the side and got involved in other stuff, just
mhm,
hanging out with his friends,
mhm,
playing video. I don't allow him to play video games too often, but
mhm,
playing video games.
mhm,
Um, got into sports, things like that, and I probably need to do a better job of encouraging him to read, even though you can't make anybody read
yeah.
anything. I can sit him down in the room like you. He
That
go
he
a
can
book,
turn pages and he can have a
and
Playboy
he
in the
could be in
middle of
there,
it.
you know. Oh man, this is an amazing book, but I don't know,
uh,
it's just one of those things that you hope your children grasp early and then enjoy. He used to enjoy it, but I think it left it. I do think it'll come back to him later on in life because it's just one of those things when you, like, it's a good foundation to
yeah,
start off on. So
yeah.
I think it will
They'll go
come
back
back.
to the foundation
Right,
problem.
right.
Uh, so I'll go back to the article. They say
Hmm.
many believe this is because some innate female-based desire to focus on work and complete it on time. A corresponding way of thinking suggests that most boys need more time to mature and to putting effort into their schoolwork. Um, I think the thing is about boys is that they start to have this energy.
Hmm.
And the energy is not about focusing, keeping still. It's about, oh, I need to get this energy out. I need to, move around, this, that, the other. But they want you to sit still. And I've read this somewhere else too. They want you to sit still in a class, and it's not really geared to,
It's not geared
you
to
know,
men.
to men, the way men
It,
operate.
okay. You done?
Yeah,
Because
go ahead, go ahead, yeah, yeah.
I it's kind of similar to what you're saying.
Mm,
It's not so much, you know. If you ever talk to a coach, anybody who
mm.
coaches, they'll tell you. Whenever I coach girls, I never had a problem.
Oh, me too.
Girls,
Yeah,
girls are
yeah,
much
yeah.
easier to coach.
Mm,
They'll sit there, they'll listen,
mm,
pay attention. Whereas men are just this is all biology. Just by nature, are more independent.
mm.
Like, coach don't know
They
what he's
want to figure
talking
it out
about.
by
Yeah,
themselves.
they want to
Mm,
figure out by
yeah.
themselves, or they are willing to, just explore different avenues. Whereas, you tell them, okay, sit here, read this book. They'll sit there and
Mm,
read that book. Or you tell them, dribble with just your left hand. And
mm-hmm.
whereas, you get a dude out there, he gonna, I'm
He
taking
going
how many
right to
back.
left
Yeah,
behind it, between the
bam.
legs,
Right.
crossing
So
there.
they naturally just men are explorers.
Mm-hmm.
They go off the beaten path. That is why we have what we have today in
Mm,
society, because in general, in large portion, men went off and decided, you know what Eddie Griffin said. I think I want to talk to somebody who ain't here.
mm,
Came up with the telephone.
yeah.
Nothing against women, but I think a woman would have never invented that, because they want that structure, they want that security. He was willing to take a chance and say, I'm gonna devote my life's work to, I guess you could say, creating a telephone and then perfecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using that as an example, but that's like with many inventions in time, over time, is somebody, they Nikola Tesla dedicated his life to science.
So,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, they dedicate.
Whereas,
Yeah.
for a woman to step outside of that comfort zone, that safety net, and say, you know what, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna discover the next. I'm gonna discover element 118 on the periodic chart. It's just not very common. Not
And,
to say there's some that won't, but most women are not wired that way.
but also because women are more wired to group together and have group activities
Hmm.
like with other women and stuff like that, whereas men, like you said, is more wired to go off on their own
Hmm.
and do things by themselves. That's just how we
That's
usually do stuff.
that's biology.
Yeah, when you put uh I can't remember the Sweden or whatever, they tried to be more of a equal society. They made everything equal. So when they just left them alone, they saw women just went to stuff like where they can group with other women, they do
Right.
certain jobs, and men went to do the harder jobs and stuff. And
And the women stayed in a more structured
mm, society,
society, where they knew what to expect.
the
Where
outcome was.
where with men, we're willing to take risks. Our risk tolerance is so much higher than women
Hmm.
in general. There's
Yeah.
some women out there who just naturally come to this world high risk takers, but the majority of them are not. The majority of them want that structured society. They want to be in a something where they know what to expect. They don't want like I said, I always say, and like I said, this may be chauvinist or misogynistic.
Uh-oh.
Women rule the
Uh-oh.
world.
Uh-oh.
We'll still be living in caves and
Uh-oh.
reading by. We wouldn't even be reading. We'll be using candlelight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I said it.
Where's it? Where's it? God dog, I couldn't
You
find it.
can't find. Don't
I
worry
couldn't
about it.
find it. God dog it. I couldn't find it.
But I mean, but
I
that's
was
just
slacking.
how that's the reality. Oh,
Oh, there we go. I found it. Oh Lord.
don't do
He
it.
didn't got
Oh
us
my
canceled.
God.
Oh Lord, Jesus.
Yeah, but that's reality. That's it, a woman would never say, I think I want to create something where I can fly around the world. You know, they're not gonna go and create airplanes.
Mm,
Not even the wheel.
mm,
What's wrong with just what happened if you get in that wheel and it go too fast,
mm.
you fall out. They're about safety. They're
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. They want to keep
Feeling safe. Yeah.
feeling safe. Whereas men are willing to risk life and limb for something that we really enjoy or
Hmm.
something that we're interested in. It's people out, it's men out there doing some weird stuff, but they're willing to make that sacrifice because that's just the way they're wired. It has
Mm,
nothing to do with somebody being equal or unequal. It's
mm.
just we are two different beings that have different purposes uh, on this. Is that correct? Different well, different purpose
Yeah.
in this world. So
And different focuses also.
different
Yeah.
folks, absolutely.
So, so they said, however, it's not only biological sex differences that give girls a head start. We just talked about that, the
Hmm.
biological sex differences. But sociologists Claudia Buckman and Thomas DePrett, authors of The Rise of Women, the growing gender gap in education and what it means for American schools, found that many underperforming boys perceive hard work in a school as unmasculine. Instead, they view manual labor and jobs that require physical strength more manly. And that's the one other thing is how you view yourself. You know, I think that's the limit on us, how we view ourselves. We view stuff as less than masculine as young men. We're gonna shy away from that. Oh man,
Right.
they ain't even
I
they ain't
mean,
even manly, you
but
know.
but and that has nothing to do with society.
Uh-huh.
That's just
Yeah,
men.
yeah.
How men act. I just want to point out something right here. I think it's interesting when they talk about the growing gender. See, this is the game I always watch for when I'm dealing with society, the growing gender gap in education and what it means in American schools. See, they automatically attribute education to going to someone's school, somebody's
Yeah,
facility,
yeah.
and that has nothing to do with education. Yeah, you can get educated in school, but it's many other ways to get educated. And for men, normally it's hands on type
Hands on,
stuff.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
dealing with it
yeah.
firsthand, not going to learn the theory of it. Because I got that first lesson. Well, I got it sooner, but it really kicked in when I went to the Navy,
Mm,
and I went to this fancy electronic school, and they teach you theory,
mm.
and then I actually had to go and do some actual electronic work,
And you didn't
and
know nothing.
theory
Yeah,
did not apply to
yeah,
any of this shit that
yeah.
I was doing. I was like, man,
That's real world practice
that
right there.
right,
Hmm.
and that's just yeah, women they can go off to school and get all these degrees, but how do you apply it in life? I'm not gonna do that, but yeah,
Uh-oh, let me get ready.
nah, I got canceled. I'm gonna wait at least 30 minutes before I get canceled again. 20 minutes, 20, I don't know, but yeah, that's I look for things like that because it's kind of like subliminal
No, it's programming. Yeah,
programming.
it's programming. Yeah.
You know, education in school.
Mm,
All right. And the colleges, guess what? They love it
mm,
because college tuition has been on the rise for the last it's been on the rise since day one,
mm,
but it's been exponentially rising. I say in the last 10 years.
mm,
And nobody complains about it. People complain about gas
mm.
prices, food prices, all the prices except for college education. People are willing to take out second mortgages, uh, ungodly amounts of loan and
Mm,
student debt in the name of quote unquote education.
mm.
Nah,
No,
it's part of the
it's
capitalistic
part of the capital.
will.
Yeah, they put themselves directly in the middle of that capitalist wheel because
Yes,
they
sir.
said if you come here and get this, you can branch out and go either
You can
way
do this.
in this wheel.
They selling
And
you
yeah, they selling you that dream.
that dream.
Mm,
You just need to write. And don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking school or education. I believe education is important, but I know you don't have to sit in somebody's classroom to be educated. Simple as that. That's
yeah, I mean, education. I mean, knowledge is free. It's everywhere. We got
you
these
got to be
cell
willing to
phones.
seek it. You got
We
to be
yeah.
got to be willing to seek it.
So it says goes on to say philosopher and feminist critic Christina Hoff Sommers, author of The War Against Boys: How Misguided Policies Are Harming Our Young Men,
Mm.
argues that the educators must consider gender typical differences in order for more boys to succeed academically. For example, classrooms are set up for the ways girls learn best. We just talked about that, such as requiring pupils to sit still, uh, not the ways boys learn best, such as fidgeting and being more active. Others, like economist David Figlio, says that girls are less vulnerable to socioeconomic pressures, whereas boys are more likely to fail in lower income settings. In a study, Figlio found that white siblings perform equally well at higher performing schools in higher socioeconomic neighborhoods. Sisters outperform their brothers at a low performing school in lower socioeconomic communities. I think. Hold on a second. Let's see. We got a comment. Okay. Okay, Ash. I'm gonna see you later. I'm gonna be over on your side. I'm gonna tune in a little bit later. All right. Uh, So yeah, I think that like women tend to. I think they tend to have this thing that they want to do better. Like I want to do better. I want to, so if they're put in a position that is, I'm not gonna say underneath. I'm gonna say to where they have more of a struggle.
Mhm.
I think they tend to do better versus boys. I think boys we tend to perform differently to struggle.
Hmm.
We tend to, take on struggle different. Now physical struggle is something different than mental, and that's
Mhm.
what I mean. I mean like mental and emotional. Women do something different with that than men. We tend to take that mental and emotional, we tend to be physically aggressive towards that type of stuff. We tend to physically work out or physical against it, and that's not the school setting. That's not
No,
something to do in it. In the school setting is something totally different. So I think that's why women kind of excel
they
more.
excel in it. That I don't know how credible these
mm,
people are, but
mm,
that's what they talked about. The
mm,
structure of
mm,
school is perfect for a woman to learn, for a female to learn. I put it
mm,
like that. Um, like I said, you sit there, you're being instructed as to what to do, and then you follow through on it. Whereas, like
mm,
I said, little boys,
mm,
they willing to take their own path. They
mm,
willing to risk, going to the principal's office because they off doing something, or they drawing, or
mhm.
whatever the
Yeah, yeah,
case
yeah,
may
yeah.
be.
Mm,
I remember my days in school, and I was like, and I think I'm of average to above average intelligence,
mm.
and I remember, my days in school where I was just like, this is a joke, for
Oh
me,
yeah, oh yeah.
for me,
I did that in college though. When I
yeah.
got to college, I'm like, this is a joke.
I tell everybody, I saw, and this is an indictment on. Hey, I'm getting ready to throw my parents under the way. This is an indictment on
Mm,
my parents, on the school, and everything.
mm,
When I was in high school, I didn't carry a book home the entire time,
mm,
except for my Spanish book, only because I found a challenge in Spanish,
mm.
and it was something that didn't come natural to me. All that other stuff they were so-called teaching us,
They
I could
it was
do it.
repetition. They
Yeah,
you
it,
done
it,
heard
it
that stuff
I,
plenty of
I
times.
could do it. So I actually, because Spanish was not my language, and it was something different, that and it provided it presented a challenge.
Mm,
I think most men are up for challenges.
mm,
Then I actually took the time to try to learn it, to try to be better at it, and I still, anything outside of the norm, I'm willing to take on that challenge, and try to do better.
mm,
But yeah, school was just, like I said, it just wasn't. That's not the way I learned.
mm.
And my life has shown that. All my jobs have been physical,
Physical
hands-on
man.
things, doing things like that. I think I can handle a corporate environment just as well, depending on what the
Well,
subject matter is.
well, you. I think you hit as you got older. You could would it be more fit for a corporate environment versus when you're younger. When
May
you,
well, I can say maybe, but it
I'm
just
saying for
depends.
most men, not you,
Yeah, yeah,
because I
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for most
For
men.
most
Yeah,
men, but
yeah.
I think it just depends on the subject matter
Mm,
and what we're talking. If it's something, if it's groundbreaking, if you're talking about space travel,
mm,
astronomy. Oh, not yeah, astronomy. That's correct.
mm,
I almost said astrology, not
mm,
that. Astronomy. I think and that's just I'm just pulling stuff. I think men will gravitate to that because you can't. That's not something that's here like this piece of paper here.
yeah,
You talking about something that we trying now. We're trying to guess. We making
something to obtain.
oh man, is it really just
Mm,
9 planets out there?
mm,
Maybe I think that presents the type of challenge that will force a man to go, to put in that extra
mm,
work to actually try to figure that out. But that's my two
mm,
cents.
mm. So whatever the reasons, unless I was because I was about to say something, I forgot what I was with the train of thought. But anyway, whatever the reasons, unless we commit to narrowing the education gap early on, the college gap will continue to widen, and women will continue to out earn men. As a result, a woman is more likely to have her first child in her 30s and 40s, not in her 20s.
Mm,
The good intentions of feminists have led, at least in part, to unforeseen results. Young women has found equal pay for equal work, but are still looking for love, and that's what I was, excuse me, trying to get at when I was talking about the unforeseen results in our community with joining the feminist movement, the white feminist movement. Back in the '60s, the late '60s, was that the unforeseen thing was what we have now. When you take the mother and say, you know, hear me roar, this, that, the other, and you don't kind of focus on men at
mhm.
because the thing is, this is the thing I think we do in our community. When you start talking about this whole gender thing with men and women, they always focus on men. Well, men is this, men is that. And they don't realize you're about to raise men. So whatever you're talking about men, you're just pointing at men. Eventually your son is gonna get there and they're gonna be this, they're gonna take the place of these men that you have a problem with.
It's not even eventually.
So
It's right now.
well, yeah, right
It's
now, yeah,
right
yeah.
now. We have what we have,
Yeah.
and especially in the black community,
Mm,
we have for in large portion the majority of these kids being raised by women.
mm,
Majority of these men being raised by women, and you see it in how men deal with conflict,
mm,
how they deal with how they don't understand how to harness their masculine energy. And I say that in the fact that I always say that that's the most powerful killing machine on earth is
mm,
the human male, and that needs to be nurtured. It needs to be taught how to manage that kind of ability.
mm.
And it's very hard for a woman to do that because they don't even understand the way that male mind operates.
Yeah.
And I used to think that was some bull, but this is true. I have conversations with my wife all the time, and I'm constantly thinking, why doesn't she
Well,
get
she'll get
this?
it. Yeah.
She's not stupid. She's
Yeah.
a very intelligent woman, but we just look at things differently. Our mind work in completely different ways, and so trying to get a woman to understand why this little boy is doing what he's
Mm,
doing and to nurture it the proper way and not neuter it, which
mm,
is what happened.
yeah.
It's been neutered,
Mm,
and now you got a bunch of men with all this ability
mm,
to destroy and to harm who don't know how to use it properly. Uh, and we have a higher crime rate in our community. We have a
mm,
higher rate of just violence amongst each other
mm,
in our community, and to me, that's a direct result of these men being raised up by women who don't really know how uh, to challenge, not challenge, but to harness that energy
mm,
and use it better, and how to manage it.
mm,
It's I was watching the guy on, I can't remember his name, on YouTube. He's a martial arts instructor, and he
mm,
was talking about, he was in a situation to where he was talking about emotional intelligence, because men are emotional, but it's a time and place for everything.
yeah.
And when you're in the heat of battle, that's not the time
Yeah.
to break out the emotions
Yeah.
and start,
Crying.
right. That's not the time for it. But you have to go through that first, and then you have to have somebody to show you the way.
Mm,
And in general, most women don't deal with it that way. They act strictly out of their emotions, and they feel good about it. Well, I should say feel good, but it's satisfying for them to react emotionally. uh I used to uh, women, especially in the community where I was growing up, they felt good when they cussed somebody out.
yeah.
I told that bitch,
Mm.
well, what changed? I mean, yeah, you got it off your
Nothing.
chest, you
Yeah. Nothing
cussed, and
changed.
you,
Yeah. Yeah.
you had an emotional outburst. You feel better. You feel satisfied because you've accomplished the way your mind works. You've accomplished that goal, but nothing has changed. I've never seen any good result come from cussing someone out or reacting emotionally like that. But pretty much back to what the guy was saying, he was in a situation where he possibly could have came into harm. Somebody was trying to do something to him, and he said at the time was not the time to use that, his emotional energy, and he had to protect his son. His son was
Yeah.
with him,
Yeah.
and he said later on that night when he was able to sit back and reflect, that's when the emotion kicked in, and and that's how it's supposed to be. But what if you don't have that man around to show another young man how to do that
Mm,
and when to do that, then you get what you get today, where men act out emotionally. I mean, it's bad.
mm,
It's Will Smith. I don't know if he had his father growing up or not, but what he did in at the Oscars, that's a feminine type outburst. That's what you do. You say somebody say something you don't like, and then you
you
deal with
attack first without.
you
Yeah.
lash
Yeah.
out. That's not how you
Yeah.
handle that situation.
Mm,
Uh, that and like I said, I don't know his upbringing or anything like that, but that's what a woman would do. I mean, especially nowadays when women feel like you said, they are empowered. They feel like we are equal.
mm.
Let me go challenge whoever,
Yeah.
because
Whether they
I'm
stronger than me or they bigger. Mm,
right, because we're equal in the eyes of government
yeah.
now. So
No,
that's my little tangent on
yeah.
that, man.
Yeah. I know. It's well within the realm of what we talking about, so it's all good. Uh. So after that, it there's this book. So after that, this woman, she wrote this book, and I can't even read it from here because it's so small. But it's called Otherhood. So it was talking about kind of at the tail end of that. It was talking about how women are going to have children later in life.
Hmm.
So they're also going to have children. I mean, the women that don't have any kids,
Hmm.
that are just unless if they have enough money, they could go sperm banks and in vitro and all that other
But
stuff.
think about how weird that is. I'm just saying, just because you can do something don't mean you should. That's always been my thing. And technology has graced
Mm,
us and blessed
mm,
us with the ability to do things that we probably shouldn't be doing.
yeah.
Should women be going off getting pregnant on their own because they can afford the procedure to do it? Well, I'm gonna say no, but that's just me saying that. Is that the proper environment for raising a child?
Well, we know the numbers of single mother. We know the
Hey,
numbers. We know the numbers. We know that's not the optimal
that's not the optimal way to do
yeah
it.
way to do things.
But
So we understand that, but
it goes back to, like you said, it's not about the future. It's about me.
yeah,
I want a child. This to complete my life. If I have my baby or babies to go with it. So unfortunately, the children suffer, and that goes for boys and girls.
yeah, yeah, on both sides. Because I mean, it's a kind of off topic, but since you said that, with girls we have the can't remember what it's called, but it's like the missing father, whatever, abandoned father or something,
Mm.
abandoned parent syndrome, whatever you call it. Anyway, but the girls usually have that going on, and it causes them to have children earlier because they want something to love them, like with the love they're missing.
Hmm.
So they gravitate to guys. They have sex earlier. They maybe drugs and everything. All bad stuff happen because you don't have a two-parent household to where you provide one thing as a mother, and that man provides another thing as a father, which is usually more structure. And y'all both can watch this child. Have watchful eye over this child being raised.
Right.
So they won't go off on
And
on journeys and
right.
stuff on their own.
And the thing is, even in that environment, the most natural environment, you still have children who waver,
Yeah, go
who
wayward.
go off the
Mhm.
path. So just think about when you just only have one person
Mhm.
administering the rearing of a child. You really a lot of it's being missed right there. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, people not willing to, because we're so selfish in society. This is a selfish society today. We're not willing to look at that before we start making these decisions of laying down having these children.
Plus, not even on selfish, but we're more ego driven now.
Hmm.
We're more ego driven. We can do it. I can do
I can
this.
do it. I'm
You
gonna
know,
prove. I'm gonna show
yeah.
you.
I'm gonna show you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then in the no, stop. No, on the back end, then now we want to blame other
Other
factors.
factors that
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
this is what it
yeah.
is.
Rather than say, okay, this is a choice I made, and this is why I did this, and yeah, I was wrong.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with being wrong, and we're imperfect. We're imperfect. There's nothing wrong with admitting wrongdoing, or admitting that you just chose a wrong path. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing at all wrong with that. Nothing at all.
But I think if you use damn it, I didn't want to do that. I think you have to damn it, stop. I think if you have to be willing to stop looking yourself as a special case that nothing else applies to you, because when you do that you make more mistakes, because you need to understand that I can view this person over there did something. I would say, okay, they went that way. I'm not going that way. I'm going to learn from that person's mistake, because I'm a human being too. I have the same whatever. You're a man, I'm a man. So if I say, we're about almost same body strength, whatever, almost same body type, whatever, we might have same strength. If you go pick up something that shit is heavy as hell and you damn break something doing
Right.
it, I'm not gonna go over there and
Right.
pick that shit up
Man,
either. I'm not doing that. Nah, hell
he
no.
just wrenched his back. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
you can have it. That's it.
No, no, bro, you got
Right.
it.
I'm gonna go get this forklift over here. I'm gonna go get this doggone wheel
Yeah.
truck, hand truck to move that. But yeah.
So, and I think that's what happens with motherhood though, because women see, like, it's crazy to me that you see like young girls make the same mistakes they see other girls in the community and their mothers done. The mistakes their mothers made by having kids too early.
Man, I'm jumping. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I had this conversation with my kids just the other day of especially in today's society with social media and everything, people not being honest
Mm.
as to what's going on. And I think a reason a lot of women do it is because the facade that they see is all positive.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
look
gonna
how
win.
good we're
Mm,
doing.
mm,
Nobody tell you the real. A lot of these women not giving you the real story of what's going on in this single parenthood life. Yeah,
mm,
you see them out in the street with their kids. Everybody dressed nicely. They having a good time having dinner. Oh man, look at that. She happy or whatever. Or you see them on social media promoting whatever. You assume they're doing well, but
mm,
people nowadays people can show you whatever they want you to see, and they're not giving them the real story. It's a lot more bad times than
mm.
it is good
Yeah.
times, but they're not gonna share that part with you because they don't want you to see that this shit is hard.
Mm,
This, and I don't know why you don't want anybody to see that, because that's a learning process for somebody else that they don't have to go through that.
mm,
But it's being hidden from a lot of people, and they end up going through the same thing. And the way I got on this was from YouTube. I started with YouTube because now the thing on YouTube is to teach people how to do something that you really don't know how to do, but you get on there and talk it like you know what you're doing.
uh,
And but they don't give you all the pitfalls and all the ins and outs of it. They just show you how, oh man, you're gonna be rich. I mean, if you just look at the advertisement
mm,
on YouTube, it's all about success. Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
you want to make $1 million today? But that you talking, I can't remember the guy name. He actually calls a lot of them out, the fake gurus and all
Mm,
these different avenues, but that's what's happening in today's society. People are not giving you the real. It's more profitable for them to make believe or
Yeah.
pretend that
Oh
they
yeah.
have it, all the answers, and
Mhm.
people follow them. So now they getting all these clicks and likes and everything for something that they really don't know how to do. But
Then they
that's
send you some undescript, some whatever
yeah,
manual how to get successful.
yeah,
$5, and
and and they not making money off of doing what they selling you on. They
mhm,
making money off of you
you
buying their content and
yeah,
getting the clicks and the likes and everything. I said,
buying
man.
into the
But
fantasy.
it's very
Yeah.
similar how we do in society. They're not giving you the full deal of what's going on. You just see the facade. You see, ooh, man, they having. She has a great life going on. Man, I'm trying to tell you, you may have some happy times as a single parent, but I'm sure you got a lot more hard because
Oh
I
yeah.
just think about being, a two home parent, and it's a lot of drama that goes
Mhm.
on in there, and not from my spouse either. I'm talking about dealing with these damn kids. So, you know, kids are people. They they
Yeah.
they got their own little minds, man. They do all kind
Mm.
of crazy shit.
Yeah. They, they're little people. Damn them kids.
Yeah.
So, so the author said more American women are childless than ever before. Nearly half those childbearing age don't have children. Uh, While society often assumes these women are child free by choice, that's not always true. In reality, many of them expect that to marry and have children, but it simply hasn't happened. Wrongly judged as picky or career obsessed, they make up the otherhood, a growing demographic that has gone without definition or visibly until now. So that's what she coined the term otherhood, and she wrote a book about it. It's Melanie Noken. Uh, Reveals her own story as well as the honest, poignant, humorous, and God damn it, associated. What is it?
Occasionally.
Okay, I'm sorry. Damn it, I'm tripping. Occasionally, maybe I should put some glasses on. That's what. Occasionally, heartbreaking stories of women in her generation. Women who expected love, marriage, and parenthood, but instead found themselves facing a different reality. She addresses the reasons for this shift, the social and emotional impact it has on our collective culture, and how the new normal will affect our society in decades to come. And that's from a white woman.
Well, and see, that's the reason she able to write that book is because that community is just now starting to experience that,
Mm.
whereas we've been dealing with this for a lot longer. So she can write that book and make it seem like it's something new. That's nah, this has been going on.
So the thing is, for people that understand, is that we, because of whatever was going on they gave us, we were always the experiments. We were always like, when they talk about stuff going on in their community, we had been dealing with that for a long damn time. Drugs in the community, right? We've been dealing with that because they introduced us, trickled out, and then they started doing. Now they know, okay, oh shit, this was gonna happen. So they kind of got a crystal ball to see what's gonna happen, so they could veer around this stuff, so to speak, because the black community experiences most of the stuff first. But like you said, it's been happening in our
Yeah,
community.
yeah, we already see the
You know,
results of it.
you know, yeah, and the whole thing about even with going back to the original thing with the women making more, that was by white people, but it's been happening in our community where we've been battling with our women. That money, us making more money in them is a problem,
Mhm.
and they could see that, but eventually the world catches up because of y'all destabilize us. So eventually it's going to trickle out into other neighborhoods or other
Yeah,
communities.
yeah.
And, once again, you cause your own problems, you know.
You do, but 95% of the problems in the world we have brought on ourselves, and I'm gonna stick by that. 95%. It might be
Mm.
95.6%. I'm gonna stick by that number.
But no, that was all interesting that I was reading up on that. And also, we're gonna talk about this in full, but I'm gonna introduce this, right. There's a such thing called a Peter principle, and this is what the women are starting to understand. The higher up you go, eventually you're gonna get to a point where you fail.
Mhm.
You're gonna go up to high. Yeah, you're gonna have socioeconomical success, but personally, it's nothing but failure up there.
Mhm.
And I also call it the Icarus effect. So I will talk about that later. I'll go into the Icarus effect because it's something I made up. But
Gotcha.
anyway, we probably do that next week. But um, this is like, women listen to this. This is not. We're not in a bubble to where um like we two men right here talking about y'all, it affects us too on a certain level. We have kids, we have grandchildren. It affects us too. I think that's the biggest problem is that when women hear men talk, it's like you don't know what you're talking about. You know, if I was a closed-minded person and I thought like, you know what, I'm a man and I don't have to worry about shit in this world. I can just walk around and be good. That's not the case because I live in a world where everything around me everything around me affects me. Everything around my son affects him. So if I don't kind of watch out for the things around,
Mhm.
you know, I can't be blind. Basically, I can't be blind with what's going on in my neighbor's yard
Right.
because eventually it's gonna come to my backyard.
Yeah. It will.
So
It will come over there.
so I think that's the problem and the short sightedness of this woman empowering women, empowering women, empowering women, focus on self and not focus on nobody else, whatever, is that you don't see the bad coming. And that's a big problem because right now we are I saw a video. I want to say it's St. Lucius or something like that,
Mm.
where people was lined up. There was no money in ATMs.
Mm.
No money. And people were like freaking out. And the thing is, they don't understand. Like nobody looks at the way the economy goes. You know, everybody just okay. All right, it's all good. It's all good. Oh yeah, live my best life. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And everybody having fun.
Mhm.
Ant and the grasshopper. You know that story. Ant and the grasshopper. Everybody having fun until hey, winter's here. Until the hard times come, and now, oh wow, what we gonna do?
Mhm.
You know. So I mean, you have to be mindful of things around you. That's just what I'm saying. You can't just negate or not listen to message somebody says because they happen to be males or they happen to be a different race, a different whatever. You need to listen to that message. You have to try to pick it apart and see could it affect your life in a negative way or is it just crap.
Mhm.
But you have to use your own mind. You can't just say what people usually say, oh, they don't know what they're talking about
Right.
because they're a
They
man.
have right.
They got a penis.
Right.
I mean, you can do that, but the problem is that it'll probably cost you in the end.
Well, you know what? I'm disagree with you on this one
Go ahead.
part. I think they see it already. I don't think they don't know it's coming. I think they already see it. But I always say this: women egos are much bigger than men's,
Mhm.
and they are not gonna say, you know what? Well, I'm not gonna say they're not gonna say it. They're not gonna let you know you were right. Because because they look at that as a blow to their ego, and
Mhm.
it's really not. It's just it's a world where nobody's right 100% of the time. But that's the only thing I got to say about
Okay.
that. I say I disagree with you, but it's just that you say they're gonna see it coming. I
Mhm.
think they already see it and just choose to, uh, you know, it's that's just men talk. Even though like I said, they're dealing with, they live in the middle of it.
Mhm.
They see these things and refuse to accept why it is that it is. Hey, you know.
And that's the downfall of this false bravado.
Hmm.
Not saying black women aren't great. You're great in every aspect that you birth children, you go through the same a lot of struggles and everything else in this world, but the fact that you're greater than the environment, you're greater than everything around you. Like you can't just go back. You stupid. You about to
No, no, no. It just it brought me back to a conversation I was having with a friend of
laugh.
mine. We were around. It was
Mm,
our wives and everything, I said, well, y- because it was the whole woman empowerment
mm,
thing, and I was like, women have gotten to the point they think they're better than who they really are.
mm,
Not to say that they're not great.
mm,
It's just now you better than everything.
mm,
You think you more important than the lion outside, or we all have a purpose in this
mm,
world. And you cannot say, oh, because I'm this, my purpose is greater than
mm,
that of the like of a grasshopper.
mm.
It's a reason they got
Yeah,
these grasshoppers are out here. Now I
yeah,
can't go into full depth and tell you exactly why, but it's a reason they're on this earth.
mm,
Ants, mosquitoes, all of them have a purpose
yeah.
on this planet.
Bees. That's something
Bees.
that you start to hear about now. The bees are dying. The bees dies, and we're not gonna have trees, much trees. We're gonna,
Yeah,
you know, we are all connected, people.
yeah,
We are all connected. You can't say I'm the woman, I'm the alpha omega, I'm goddess, queen,
yeah.
whatever, and not say men are not important to that
Right,
that cycle
right.
or
They
us
are
doing
just
whatever.
as great as you are. But but like I said, you got to give credit to the pine trees. You got to give credit to the dandelions. All this stuff works together. It's not a coincidence that these things exist in society. They're here for a reason, not society on
in
this
the
earth.
earth. Mm.
And all technology, for as great as technology is, it is starting to greaten that gap as to why the necessity of earth and how and why we're here.
Mhm.
We start forgetting basic things. Like I said, we've gone from talking to people like how me and you are talking right now to writing letters again. We're going backwards.
Mhm.
You used to have to write a letter because you couldn't talk to somebody on the other side of the world. Well, now, we have the ability to write a letter to somebody who's not here. Instead of picking up the phone and calling them, we just send them, oh, happy birthday, or whatever whatever the occasion is. Where, what's wrong? What happened to, man, let me call my buddy and tell him happy birthday, or let me call my mom and tell her I love her. We sending out text now. We're regressing, whether we realize it or not. We're using technology to regress, but we're going, and that's why people have a hard. If you talk to people, if you have a, I know you have. I'm talking in general, but you go to some of these stores or like Walmart or somebody, and you interact with a young person, they can't look you in the eyes. They have a hard time having
Connecting.
having a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Just general, just unless Walmart tells them you greet, well, I shouldn't be saying all these different. You greet people when they come to your
Mm.
register. They really don't know to do that naturally because it's not part of the society
Yeah.
anymore. It used to be a time. I still do it for the most part, but you walk in the room and you just say good morning, oh hello to everybody in that room because that's what you do. We're human beings. We need that interaction. You walk into a room when you are the new person, you greet
Mm.
everybody. And you may introduce yourself, you may not, but if nothing else, you good morning or hello, how's everybody doing?
Yeah. Basic common courtesy, basically.
basic
Yeah. Yeah.
basic things. But you like I said, interacting with these young people, and there's some of them. Of course, everybody's not. I'm not putting everybody in a bubble or in a trying to isolate them, but some young people do know how to interact, and you can tell they probably dealt with that at home.
Mhm.
But a lot of them have a hard time just interacting with people, and that's why you get all these disagreements, and people don't know. They don't understand context and where things are coming from. Context is lost so much in written
Yeah.
text, especially in
And spoken,
hey,
spoken
spoken
too.
text as well, but in written text even more
Uh,
because now you can't see any facial expressions,
mm.
you can't hear any tone. So now you get to make up all that shit on your own. Whereas at least when you talk to somebody, you hear their tone, you see their face, you can kind of
The
assume where they're
inflection
coming
in the
from.
voice and
You
everything.
can kind of, but even then, a lot is missed in that. But in text now, it's completely missed, and now people are forming their own opinions. Oh, they're trying to be arrogant. They being
Mhm.
funny. They think, and I've seen people react to text like that. I'm
Mm.
like, how do you know that?
Mhm.
You know, you see that the
The
whatever,
dot.
right? You see
the,
that
the,
emoji,
the
and I'm thinking,
exclamation points.
I'm like, man, I said I'm gonna try to shield myself from that way of thinking for
Mm.
as long as possible, even though
Mm.
I know it's going to be very hard because that's what the world is
Society,
going
yeah.
to.
Mhm.
We're not even, like I said, we went from writing words to not just letters that's supposed to mean words. Like I said, we're regressing through technology. Why? What is it? WYD?
Mm.
Uh,
IDK.
IDK.
WWJD.
Now we went through a time when people would actually say these things, but they don't say them anymore.
Mm.
But you pick up a phone and
Yeah.
you text somebody, you get all the little what they
Yeah.
call what's the name
Uh,
of that? They had a name for it. I
oh,
can't remember what the
yeah.
name is, but you get all that stuff
Like
now.
shorthand or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Text shorthand. I don't
you get all that stuff now, and so we're not even using our words
know.
anymore. We
No.
we we reduced to just the letter that it starts with. You telling me that ain't weird?
But see, when I'm doing some of these debates, like one week I wanted us to go over this. I think we skipped that week. But what Tashina Arnold had put something out, and it was about how can women help uh stop emasculating men.
Oh, okay.
She put that out and they went crazy, right? They went
Mhm.
crazy. You can't do that. You can't, you know, how you gonna get stop men from, men should know their own worth and this, that, the other. Not understanding what emasculate mean. It has a meaning. Emasculate doesn't mean you're doing something to him to make him less manly. It's meaning you're doing something to him to help uh not show his or not
Not allow his
allows
masculinity to
masculine,
be
yeah, to
shown.
show. There you go.
Hmm.
And it was like everybody was going, I'm like, what the hell, that
But
doesn't mean that. I mean, it's not saying women are are taking away men's masculinity. No,
Can't
they're
do it.
doing something to try to
Overshadow.
overshadow that masculinity.
Yeah.
They're trying to be more masculine than man, which actually means that's what you're doing. You're emasculating the man.
Mhm.
You know, um, and we see it in our community so much. Not as much as any other communities because they follow a certain order for certain structure,
Yeah.
and they have successes because of that. They have different outcomes. Now
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know exactly success, but they have different outcomes because of it, and we have the problem we have.
Yeah. I wish I could have saw that. But it's it's very interesting. Like why we talked about this last week, I think. Why so often do they attack the messenger? Listen to the message. Listen to what she's actually
Mm,
saying.
mm,
Understand what she's saying. Like you said, words have meaning. Understand what she's saying, and then then attack that principle. If you think that's off, then attack that. But don't go after her and start making it personal. Oh, like you said, you can't take nothing from a man. And well, you didn't hear what she said.
and I saw emotional men doing that too, and I'm like, this
Well,
is
see, that's
bad.
I'm telling you, that's
This
what
is
we got.
bad,
It's a
man.
reason men
Mm,
act like that now.
yeah, this is bad. Mm,
Because invariably they were raised in a society where, or in a situation to where this is how you react to situations. You have an outburst. You take your ball and go. Whatever the case may be.
well, the reason why it was bad though, because of this, right? Usually, if like if women are having disagreements, whatever,
Mhm.
men will stay out that shit.
Yeah, hey man.
Don't have nothing to do with that.
Oh man.
So this is why it's bad. Like for this sister said whatever she said, and the women was just whatever, and the dudes are going at it too. Like you some pick me and this that the other. Just it's like
But
bringing up personal attacks on somebody because they have a opinion
uh, that's
of
different from
whatever.
yours.
Yeah, it's just a difference of opinion. It doesn't mean it's gospel. It wasn't
It,
came down from the heavens.
it doesn't
What?
make it right or
It
wrong.
wasn't none of that.
But like I said, attack the opinion if you must,
Mm,
but why don't make it personal?
mm,
Don't make it about that person. Make it
mm,
about what the subject matter of what was said. Have a hard time doing that, and that's hey man. I went through I'm not even going to depth,
mm,
but over the weekend I brought up a conversation and some people lost their minds behind it because and I kept hearing, well, it's your delivery.
mm.
They was giving me
Oh
the
Jesus.
yeah, and I'm
Oh
like,
jeez.
so the fact that what I'm saying is very
It could
accurate.
be valid, but mm,
You just gonna say, well, you delivered it improperly. I didn't spoon feed it. That's not the reason I said it. And I thought it was very interesting when I said it. Immediately I got pushback from all the women in the room. And I was like, that's interesting because what I said was just a general statement. I didn't say it about anybody in
nobody
particular,
personal. Yeah. Mm,
but I got pushback from every single one. The men didn't say anything. But each woman in the room, I got pushback from them. And I said, that's interesting. What they say, a hit dog, a holler.
yeah.
I said, that's interesting that they automatically, when I said what I said, they all start trying to defend themselves of what I said. And I never said you need
Mm,
to do this or you need, they automatically start trying to defend themselves against what I said. And it had nothing, it was about nobody in particular. It was a statement
mm,
of how things work.
mm,
I was like, that says a lot. And I was good with that. You know
mm.
what I'm saying? I said, this shows me exactly
Exactly what you're
what's
dealing with.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you had to read the room at that point.
Yeah.
It's crazy because this is what I noticed. Like we all see. So no, we don't all see. The thing is that people that deal with emotions, right? They if something is negative in the world, like you was talking about something, it might have been negative.
Mhm.
They're not going to focus on that negative because it doesn't feel good. It don't feel good. So they're
Right.
going to focus on, no, it's not me. And they're going to defend it. But it's not about you. It's about just what we can visually see,
Hmm.
the visual truths we
Hmm.
can see out in society.
And
It does exist.
man, I'm trying to tell you, and the more I start to pay attention to these things, and I'm not here to get on women. I just notice the opposite sex because it's not me, and I'm just curious of how they receive information and how they deal with it. But you can tell, you can see when they feel a certain way about
Mm.
what you said because they do certain things. I'm not going to go into detail because I want people to start
Yeah,
trying
you
to
don't want
cover it up.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but and I'm like, that's interesting, and I see it from 90% when it's a conversation like that, it's certain defensive mechanism that they do, and that's just human beings. I'm sure men do the exact
Yeah.
same thing, but and we just do different stuff.
Mhm.
We don't do what. But I was like, that is interesting. But it's a couple of cues that I've started to pay attention to. I'm like, wow. Whenever they feel like this, they do this,
Mhm.
and some of it is physical, some of it is actually emotional.
Mhm.
But it's interesting. I'm like, wow, this is
You can almost chart some of that stuff. Yeah.
I'm that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
mentally,
No.
and my stuff and what my charting is it's just my little uh my little measurement
Mhm.
that it doesn't necessarily apply to the entire world, but I'm starting to see it outside of my just circle and just see it on whether it's on TV, on social media or whatever. So
So that's what I used to do when I used to work at the clothing store for all them years.
yeah,
Like
you
I would
told me
say
about
a
that. Yeah.
certain thing, and then I would figure out what would make people say and how many people like, whoa, this is crazy.
This is crazy.
Each time, no
See,
matter what the person was, I say a certain thing, and they'll just go off with their and it's what it is programming. And that's how propaganda spreads. You got to learn that. And the thing is, like I said, in black community, I will say always say this. We don't understand sociology, we don't understand psychology of things. We understand the things that white people understand. That's how we always getting tricked and how we always being controlled because we don't understand these things. And it's once you open your eyes to certain things, it's like, oh damn, this was been going on all the time, but I
mhm.
never understood it because I didn't have that knowledge
I
to
wasn't paying attention for what
to
me.
bring it
I
into
can say I wasn't paying attention.
yeah,
You were in a situation
yeah,
to where you
all women all
you
the time. Yeah.
you dealt with that early on,
Mm,
and then it was like part of your job
mm,
to understand these things
mm.
to become more
Yeah,
profitable in that
for the
job
company. Yeah.
for the
Mm,
company. So it was, you got baptized in it early
yeah.
on, whereas me, I really wasn't. I was just, like I said, I was
Blinders.
oblivious to all that
Mm,
stuff, man. But I'm starting to pay attention to other things outside of myself. I'm being selfish, I guess. I
mm,
don't know, but I'm starting to pay attention to other things and try to understand at least why this person is reacting this way. And I think I never understand why they react this way, but I can, but based on certain cues, I can like, oh, this is how they're feeling
yeah.
right now.
This yeah,
Yeah,
this yeah.
So I just like, man, but it's for me to become an expert in that, then I have to put everything else down. So,
Mm.
you know, now I can recognize,
Yeah.
see it, and I just move on. But
Well,
and I'm not trying to so much understand it, but I'm just like, wow,
but it helps you navigate
it
the
does.
world better.
It does
Um,
because I like conflict too.
yeah,
So that's why I bring up certain
yeah.
things around
No,
people because they
yeah.
told me they're like, you know what, you a shit starter. I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe,
It, it
you
it
know,
it breaks out the monotony.
what?
Shit.
Not just
Yeah.
that. It's a lot of conversations that need to be had that
Hmm.
aren't being had,
Hmm.
and like you said, people quote unquote get triggered. That I'm so tired of hearing that, but people get triggered, and the conversation's still not had.
Hmm.
Now
Oh
they're
yeah,
just
yeah,
reacting
yeah,
to
yeah.
how they feel about. But
And
I'm
they
like,
shut down, so
they
you really
yeah,
not hearing
or you
anything.
get
Yeah.
you get defensive and
Yeah.
you're sitting back waiting to defend yourself when in reality what I said didn't need any defense at all. It was just a general statement. It was not pointed at anybody. It was just, this is what needs to happen in this situation. And all the defense came out. I was
Yeah.
like, somebody look like somebody.
They got something on their chest.
Yeah, yeah.
They
So,
huffing and puffing.
but it's great. Just that's why I enjoy this platform you
Mm.
have here, is because it's we don't have a lot of interaction. I wish we did have more back and forth with people
I
who
tried,
willing
man,
to.
because
Oh, I
yeah,
believe
I
you.
tried,
It's just
yo.
people. A lot of times, people don't have time. A lot
Mm.
of times, people are afraid. A lot of times, people, people and people just are exhausted. They don't want to go into detail
No,
about that,
I
and that's
think it's
understandable.
easier to get on there and have
Yeah,
Twitter fingers than to get up there and talk about something.
right. Because ultimately, I'm trying to get to a solution.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when you just
Mm.
argue just for the sake of arguing, just to be right
Mm.
or to prove your point, now now nothing's being
Yeah,
accomplished.
yeah.
Let's have this conversation to try to. Is this true what I said? If
Mm.
it's not, show me why it's
Show
not
show me
true.
what's wrong with
Show me why it's not
train of
true.
thought.
But
Mm.
yeah, I like making the room uncomfortable, and it's been I've ruined a few gatherings.
Mm,
I say
mm,
ruined,
mm. Yeah,
but you could tell the whole vibe
yeah,
was
yeah,
off
yeah.
after
The air leaves the room.
after I interjected some
Yeah.
things,
Mm.
and then and I was like, oh, look at this. This was interesting. But whether people will admit it or not, they had to go home
Process it.
with their
Hmm.
significant
Yeah,
others, because normally it's men and women
yeah.
things and how we interact, and have This, and I know conversations were had
Mm.
once that happened. Now, will I be privy to that conversation?
Probably
No,
won't. Yeah.
but I don't need to be. It's just a conversation that needed to be had.
Mm.
That you guys was feeling this energy
Mm.
before, but you never approached
Addressed
it.
it. Mm-hmm.
So I come in there, bam, because I deal with it. I approach it and I try to do better. And I don't want to, I don't. But I have to do it.
Mm.
We have to have
Yeah.
these uncomfortable conversations, or not. They don't even have to be uncomfortable. Once you understand how to navigate them, it shouldn't be about
Mm.
uncomfortable. It should just be getting an understanding from one
Yeah.
another.
One of the young ladies that I had on Sunday, she messaged me with a question, whatever.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want to be I don't know if this is rude or whatever. How was she there? I can't remember. But anyway, I was like, no, we as black folks need to start talking about certain things. If you don't understand something and it's
Mhm.
about men, hey, talk to a man. You're gonna figure out something. You might be way off base, or it might be within line, but you checked. So it's you should never fear or feel bad for trying to understand somebody.
As long as
That's
that,
it's
like,
crazy
if you're trying to understand,
from a pure place. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that at all, man. It's nothing wrong. And what they tell you in school, the only question is a question not asked. Only
Not
dumb
a dumb
question
question, the question not
is
asked.
question not asked. Which
And make sure you're coming from a pure place. Like I
yeah.
said,
Now, if you're trying to be an ass with it,
yeah,
then you should feel a
yeah,
certain way
yeah.
about it. But if, like you said, if you're coming from a genuine concern of is this right or wrong,
Mhm.
or how does this affect you? Hey man, it may sting to the
Yeah,
person you're talking
yeah.
to, but if they're gonna be honest, then that conversation can be had. And guess what? Every time you have that conversation, it's a little bit
Mhm.
easier and easier to do now because the cards are on the table. They're not trying to hurt you or harm you. They just try to get information and hopefully to better the
Mhm.
relationship or whatever the case may be that you guys have going on, man. So
And like you said, with your people, right? A lot of times they'll leave. They won't address it with you, but they'll leave, go somewhere, and their wheels will be spinning.
hmm
And they'll think about like, why does this bother me?
hmm
Now they have to do self reflection.
hmm
Now they have to realize, okay, damn, maybe this person was right in an assessment, and I wasn't hearing it. But now by myself, I'm, damn, you
hmm
know, so it's just that we have to be. I think that's why we don't. We have to be willing to attack certain things so we could grow.
hmm
We can't grow as a community because we're too busy doing our own thing. Like
yeah.
I said, we've been over that. The individualism is being one of the cancers of the community, and people are still more focused on being individuals.
hmm
And
and I'm guilty of that.
yeah,
I'm a big. I believe in the individual, but I
mm,
also believe in the collective. And I'm not talking just about black. I'm just talking about people,
mm,
all of us. Like it goes back to what you were saying about us being property of the
yeah,
United States. We need to understand that's kind of how the structure that we have created by turning over all our rights to our government. And we need to take our rights back. So it's you know individual individualism is good, but it's also the collective makes a point too. It's important in certain on the broad scale.
well, I think that what I'm talking about is like when you have no power,
hmm
like we have, black folks have no power in this country. We are dead last when it comes to, we say something, it gets done. We're dead last. We have to do so much more than everybody else because we don't have that unity that every other community has.
Don't have the unity, and then the way we attack a lot of these problems, we go about it. We want to okay. I go into like I can't remember because time ran together. I don't know if it was this past something. No, it wasn't this past something. So the summer before, when the whole with the George
George
Floyd
Floyd,
thing,
George
and then
Floyd.
they had all the riots and
Mhm.
stuff. Cool, but at some point, the riots crossed the line to where nobody didn't care what you were protesting anymore because now you started doing things didn't that had nothing to do with righteousness. It was more so I'm just gonna tear up shit just to be tearing up
Well,
shit.
no, that wasn't us. No, no, no,
Well,
that wasn't
no, no,
us.
no.
Yeah, yeah,
And
okay,
I'm not talking about black people. I'm just
okay,
talking
okay,
about
cool. All right,
period. The
I
whole
got
riot thing. It started with
it.
us,
Yeah,
and then you. Like I said, the more you live, the more you learn. You got people out there who are professional rioters
mhm,
who are brought into
yep,
different
mhm,
situations to agitate, to disrupt,
yep.
to create all kind of imbalance.
Mhm.
But once that happens, and like I said, it wasn't all of us, but there was,
No,
it
that happened during the '60s, though.
yeah,
But we because we're so much a better community, we was able to stop that shit when it was going
right,
on.
because you said, hey, this is not what we
Yeah,
out here
yeah,
for.
hmm
But now nobody says that.
yeah.
No, they say, oh, well, you know what? I always wanted them pair of Jordan because the window
Yeah,
already
yeah,
broke.
yeah.
Let me go in there and just so. But once you cross that line, now you're not being heard anymore because now you become a nuisance to
Well, you become criminals.
criminals
Yeah,
and a nuisance to that community.
yeah.
You complain about all this stuff and then go out there and destroy your community behind it. That has never made sense to me. But like you said, back in the day, hey, this is not what we're here for. We ain't gonna do that. You had a few people to go off
Yeah.
the path and do shit, but
It wasn't widespread.
it
Like,
wasn't widespread. Let me see what they say. Ladies are winning.
yeah, you're winning.
What's that B posted?
It's supposed to be. I can't remember. But at what cost? That's what it was. Ladies, you're winning, but at what cost?
All right.
Yeah. So that was
Well,
the
the
topic.
cost is our society.
No, the cost is that you're winning, but what you actually want out of life,
You're not gonna get that.
you're not. It's gonna be harder. Not saying you're not gonna get it. It's gonna be harder to get it because you've put yourself. Once again, we're gonna go on this probably next week. The Peter principle. You've put yourself at the plateau. There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah, but
There's nowhere else to go.
and the reason I say you're not gonna get it, I'm talking in general. The majority of
Okay.
them will never
Yeah,
get it.
majority. Yeah, I agree.
They will never get it. It'll be a couple of outliers. Cool. If you want to base your life on some outlaw shit, go right ahead. But the majority of them are not going to get it. And well, we'll say that for Peter.
Yeah, let's do this.
For Icarus.
Yeah, for the Icarus. We'll do that next week.
Well,
got anything else to say, brother?
Nah, man,
yeah.
good show, man. That's I'm telling you, come up with some clever things, man. Ladies, you're winning. And these bros ain't loyal. So man, yeah, you got some clever things that deal directly with what we have going on in our community. So keep up the good work.
Yeah,
man.
I try to introduce new concepts and ideas. That way, like if anybody watching, you could think like, because like we need to understand, it's a lot of stuff that we don't understand. We focus on all kind of other shit. We focus on everything else. But when somebody says something that actually can help the community or focus on the community, like I said something, I have a theory of how to like help the community and get the community to a certain point to where we become a community again. It's met with oppositions, but nobody has no. I'm not gonna give you a solution. I'm gonna give you. You're wrong. You're just wrong. You're wrong. Like, okay, why I'm wrong? Why I'm wrong? Well, what you're telling me this? Well, I just need to shut up because you know everything. Oh, okay. Well,
see,
well, all
and
right,
how do you solve a problem when people start to shut down?
Yeah,
And I think a lot of it is, and this is my theory, when people do that, they really don't have anything to back it up. So they try to end the conversation there. They wanted to stop there because the more you start talking, that like I said, that dog start hollering a little bit louder because you keep hitting some sensitive areas. You keep poking that wound, man. And
let me bring something up. Now that you said it, good. I have something, and this was a clubhouse. I went checked out. Ashley hit me up and told me to check this clubhouse out. It was about how women empowerment destroyed the community. I don't know which one this is. Damn it. I should have named it different things. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try to do this one. But it shows exactly what you said. Like, somebody's trying to talk and trying to talk about something that actually is constructive to the conversation. And because you feel a certain way, you're going to disrupt it. And it has nothing to do with what's going on. It has nothing to do with just disrupting it, just to disrupt it because you feel some type of way, but
and no, because it probably like I said, pokes that sore spot on.
After we do, we're gonna talk about it because you'll notice this is gonna be crazy because you're gonna notice it. Hold on.
Michelle Obama, then you got city girls. There's more city girls than there are a Michelle Obama. Except
wait a minute. This is the problem. We got black women. Our name is in a title in a whole fucking room. Look at the stage. It's a stage full of men. We can't even get a word in. We can't even talk. My friend back channeled me. She said, look, y'all can have it. I can't even speak. This is fucking ridiculous. Women's empowerment has destroyed the black family and we can't say two fucking words. The whole stage besides myself, Just, and Geneva, it's all men. I see a few women up here. All men. Y'all can definitely have this conversation. I'm going on mute.
No, we can let the women. I'll let the women speak, but what I'm not go on mute. Go on mute. What I'm not going to hold on. Go on mute. I'll shoot the whole stage. I'll sit up here and talk for 2 hours.
Shit,
by
Pink
myself.
Panther talk for 5 hours by himself, and we can't get a word.
No. But what we not gonna do is, I don't care nothing about that clubhouse culture that y'all talking about. I'm trying to have a great conversation. It's not about men versus women. Stop it. I'll let the women speak. But the point is, I'm laying down the foundation to have a real conversation. If you can't have this conversation, if you too sensitive to have this conversation, get your ass off this stage. Don't make this about man versus woman. It's about the women's empowerment and the family culture. It has destroyed the black family.
Fact. Why do you say that?
Prove me wrong.
Okay, but why?
I just addressed it. You don't get it, or you troll?
I don't.
You don't get it because okay, let me explain. Let me do a reset.
Oh
the
God.
women's empowerment, because most of these women today, Trelly, they are feminists. They is the Me Too movement. They is a bunch of black women getting together saying fuck the black. Read the fucking description.
Maybe that's what the room title should have been. Black women saying fuck black.
No, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been that. It's this women's empowerment shit. Don't tell me about the other rooms from these other cultures that's in these fucking rooms. Like, they're going to defend their culture. But when it comes down to the black man, the black woman got to fight for the black woman, and then the black man got to fight for the black man. We the only ones out here fighting for ourselves.
Yeah, that's because our men don't fight for us.
Nobody fights for us.
Nobody
we don't even fight for us
either, but
everybody else fight. That's what I just said. That's why I wanted people to know. Women's empowerment has destroyed the black family.
I don't think
Prove
so.
me
So
wrong.
me teaching my little girls, and I have two, empowerment, to be empowered, to go out there and be the best you can be, to get your education, to uplift other black girls like you, will destroy a black family. It makes no fucking sense. I'm going on mute.
Can I say something?
When it's on the back of a black man, it is.
Can I say something? Okay. Emotions aside, the feminist movement was started by a group of white women. The feminist movement was started in 1848. We weren't even free then, so couldn't even be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So the feminist movement started in New York in 1848, and it was because white women was really upset that they did not have the same rights as their husband. They were tired of being in the kitchen. They were tired of all of that stuff. We didn't have, as black people, we didn't have that problem. You know, our problem was the white men and the white women, because they both had their foot on our necks. Okay? So then...
so you're going to turn it into a racist thing?
No, I'm not, Gigi. Hold on.
Okay,
and then
all right. But just be mindful, I have a white husband. So
baby,
I'm talking about race. Like, it's the white... If you're going to...
Let her land, Gigi. Please let her land.
Yeah, because Gigi, you got to stop. That's not... She's breaking... I get that. She's going to give you respect. She's breaking down history where the feminist movement actually started. Don't be offended. That's why I say, if you're going to be sensitive, you need to get off stage. Just stay and follow my speakers and listen. But she's not being disrespectful. Gigi, but you can't say... Gigi, let the young lady speak. She's giving... Yes, you can, but she's not being disrespectful. You can have an opinion, but don't say she's being disrespectful towards a race when she's not, when she's giving us a history lesson.
Is this going to be a
And she said no, Gigi, let her talk.
Okay. Well,
All right, go ahead, sweetheart. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, and so, like I said,
So you see how,
Yeah.
like, they want the woman to speak. They want to let women speak, right?
Mhm.
Want to let women speak. Men, you can't speak. You know, we don't want you to speak because, you know, this is about women. You shouldn't be speaking for us. The woman starts to speak and say something to give a history lesson. And now
She got a problem with that.
I got a problem with this because, I got a white husband,
Mhm.
right? I don't want to hear what you got to say. You ain't saying the right shit. I'm triggered. So now I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna stop that too.
Shut this down. But I think it's so interesting when that argument comes up. Oh, you're not a woman, so you can't speak on this. And I'm like, but I live in a society where it impacts me
Mhm.
and him, and you know, it impacts everybody. It's not just because they is labeled women's empowerment doesn't mean only women are affected by this. You know, so. But those are the conversations you got. But like I said, how do you have a conversation with that kind of energy going on. With her just losing her mind because she don't like. I don't know if it was the tone of what was said.
It wasn't even tone. It was a history, like you said.
But
history.
but how do you have that conversation? But instead, and even if she would have just shut up, she's still sitting there waiting to respond and not even listening. I guarantee you to what's being said. And what's sometimes it's okay to just shut up and just and just respond. Don't respond to respond, but actually get some understanding of where they're coming from. You don't have to agree with them, but listen to what they're saying and then analyze them and say, okay, versus just because they struck a nerve with what was said.
Because they said it was talking about white people. It's
yeah,
race thing.
Yeah, it's race.
I think in the black community, we need to start, like you said, listening to them. And then if you're going to do anything, before you respond, ask, what is your purpose? What is your purpose? Just asking that question alone. What is your purpose for saying what you said? If I don't understand, what's your purpose? What are you trying to get at by what you said?
Right.
Allow that person to explain before you go into something, because you're going off of assumptions before that person actually explains what they're talking about, or explain why they said it or where they're coming from. Or, it could be just in my life that I've seen this going on in my part of wherever I'm from. And it doesn't affect you because you're from somewhere else and you don't understand that because you're from a whole different place.
Right.
And now we just battling back and forth because you don't like what I said.
Right. And you can't, like I said, you really don't get a resolution with that. It takes a certain level of emotional maturity to have a conversation. And unfortunately, in the black community, we don't have a lot of us don't have a high level of maturity when it comes to our emotions, how to put the emotions to the side and actually be logical about what's being talked about the subject matter. Because we feel a certain way, and we want to respond based on how we feel. Now, that you're not solving anything. Now you just, I want to feel better. So I'm going and like what I brought up earlier about cussing somebody out. Now I feel better because I didn't yell. I done said, yeah, my husband white or whatever. Now you feel better because you got it off. You had that emotional release. It's probably some kind of dopamine attached to that, I'm sure.
Probably so.
But yeah, man, it's but I like to create situations like that because even though she's doing all that, she's not listening now, but she's gonna have to go home and
think about
and digest it. So that's all good, man. But, I don't care about you yelling and all that because in reality that just means, like I said, that wound is
open.
I'm poking in there. It ain't been healed. You need to fix that. You need to get that sutured, get it sewed up, man. But yeah, man, that's what. So who was that? Who?
That was the Roosevelts. I can't remember the guy his name, but is the guy that you heard, Freddie Roosevelt. That's his name, Freddie Roosevelt. He has this clubhouse group, and they talk about all kind of stuff.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Just whatever.
Now you gotta be invited into those things, right? You can't just jump in there.
You can look it up. Like you can look up the Roosevelt group, Freddie Roosevelt, and then and just join.
I got you.
But
I was thinking Clubhouse was something like exclusive where
it used to be when it was on Apple. It used to be that way.
Oh, really?
But
they probably should have kept it that way, but
probably. I don't really get on there unless somebody tells me something's on there. I just don't, because it's like it gets real cliquish. Like they all know each other,
Right? Because they start calling by
names, and another guy got on there and he was a white guy and he's from England or something like that or somewhere over there. And he was saying something, and they got on him about what he said because he's white, and and no, this is we're talking, this is a black problem, whatever, and then, but this white man, it's crazy. It's like it gets crazy, and like you hear a lot of screaming and stuff. But that was good. I was able to get something from that. A lot of stuff I've been on a couple, like maybe 4 or 5 times. I don't get much from that, but I was able to get something because it was actually talking about, it was based in something.
Right. That's all right there.
Like I said, we're gonna come back next week, ladies. You winning, celebrate. But Dave, now we got another problem we got to fix. So while you celebrate, now you need to be mindful that there's other problems on the back end that needs to be addressed.
Now you got to fix it. Before we go, how the article talked about how women are putting out childbirth to later on because they put their careers first. But that's also going to be a impact of the community as well. But we'll stop right there. We'll pick that up at a later date.
Yeah.
So good show, man. Good.
First law of alchemy. Y'all understand that. Try to read up on it. understand energy, understand, you know.
I'm gonna have to read that book too, The Alchemist.
Yeah,
Everybody
The
keeps telling us
Alchemist,
it's a great book. So.
Yeah. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Anybody that has anything to say later on, hey, go drop in the comments. Anybody come along, subscribe. Hey, leave us some.
Yeah, leave us some bad reviews. Like,
yeah, leave some
these
troll
guys,
on it. Hey,
these,
give a troll.
These guys don't know shit. They
You don't
just
know
up
what
here just
y'all talking about.
just running their damn mouth.
But that's it right there. YouTube Black Male Podcast. Subscribe, like, you know, leave us comments. We'll come back next week. You might talk about what you're talking about. You know, might address it.
Okay.
That's it, right, brother?
All right, man. Yeah, happy Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday. All right. Well, we about to be out here. As soon as I get us out of here, I gotta get
Let's
to
wrap it up.
I gotta wrap it up. All right, y'all. Peace.